Hey guys! I am going to share another recipe that I found online, which is the CHEWY chocolate chip cookies. I have been craving homemade cookies for the past few weeks, so I searched some recipes on Google and I found a recipe at sallysbakingaddiction.com, which is, according to her, it is the most popular cookie recipe on her website. So why not try it? The ingredients that you need for this recipe are 2 1/4 cups all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 1/2 teaspoons cornstarch, a 1/2 teaspoon salt, 3/4 cup or 1 1/2 sticks unsalted butter, melted and slightly cooled, 3/4 cup brown sugar, 1/2 cup granulated sugar, 1 large egg plus 1 egg yolk. Make sure that it's at room temperature. 2 teaspoons vanilla extract, and chocolate chips or chocolate chunks. I used white chocolate chips because there were no available at the store. The first thing to do is whisk together the flour, baking soda, cornstarch, and salt in a large bowl. If you are asking why cornstarch is included, it gives the cookies that ultra soft consistency, plus it helps keep the cookies beautifully thick. After whisking, set aside. Next, in a medium bowl, whisk the melted butter, brown sugar, and white sugar together until no brown sugar lumps remain. It is important to melt the butter because it produces the chewiest cookies. And since we are using melted butter, we don't need a mixer for this cookie recipe. Oh, and use more brown sugar because the moisture in brown sugar promises an extra soft and chewy cookie. Whisk in the egg, then the egg yolk. We added the yolk because it adds richness, soft tenderness, and binds the dough. Finally, whisk in the vanilla extract. Pour the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients and mix together using a rubber spatula or a large spoon. Mix well. The dough will be very soft yet thick. Fold in the chocolate chips and chocolate chunks. They may not stick to the dough because of the melted butter, but do your best to combine them. Save some of the chocolate chunks for the toppings. Cover the dough and chill in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 hours, or you can also chill it overnight for less spreading. Chilling is highly recommended because it results in a thicker cookie.
3 hours later.
Take the dough out of the refrigerator and allow to slightly soften at room temperature for 10 minutes. Preheat oven to 163 degrees Celsius. Grease the baking sheets with butter or use a baking paper if you have one. Roll the dough into balls. The dough will be crumbly, but the warmth of your hands will help the dough stay together. Roll the cookie dough balls to be taller rather than wide to ensure the cookies will bake up to be thick. Press some chocolate chips or chunks on top of the dough balls for looks if desired. Bake the cookies for 12 to 13 minutes. If you make the cookies smaller, make sure to reduce the baking time by a couple of minutes.
A few minutes later.
When you remove the cookies from the oven, it will look very soft and underbaked. Allow to cool on the cookie sheet for 10 minutes. The cookies will continue to bake on the cookie sheet. Cookies stay fresh, covered at room temperature for up to 1 week. A few notes from sallysbakingaddiction.com. If you don't have cornstarch or don't want to use it, simply leave it out. The cookies are still very soft. Salted butter can be used instead, but reduce the salt in the cookie dough to 1/4 teaspoon. If a recipe calls for room temperature or melted butter, it's in good practice to use room temperature eggs as well. When I baked the first batch of cookies, it looked like this. It did not spread. I tried to flatten the second batch of cookie dough, but still, it did not spread enough. Anyway, I just continued baking the rest of the dough flattened so that it will look thinner than the first batch. So, the tall cookie dough trick did not work on me, and I tried to search why it did not spread, and maybe it is because of the butter or the dough being too cold. But I figured it out, and it is because I made a mistake measuring the butter. When it comes to the taste, the cookies were really good, soft and chewy. It is not crispy or crumbly, which I super duper like. If there are no chocolate chips available, you can also use sprinkles or our local M&Ms, which is called nips. Try making it yourself using this recipe. You are going to love the chewiness of the cookies, and of course, you are going to enjoy making it.